What if one of the smartest people in the world failed the simplest test in a field they thought they owned? Imagine Elon Musk, the visionary entrepreneur behind Tesla, SpaceX, and a dozen other groundbreaking ventures, sitting nervously at a desk, staring at questions about memes, gaming slang, and Twitch culture. That's exactly what happened when we gave Elon Musk the Streamer University exam, and he totally failed. But why did this happen, and what does it mean for the man who seems to have conquered everything else? Before we dive into this wild story, hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? The idea to test Elon on streaming culture came from a place of curiosity and challenge. Streaming is more than just playing games on camera, it's a complex blend of technical skill, cultural fluency, and emotional connection with an audience. For years, the streaming community has grown into a massive cultural force with its own language, humor, and social norms. The Streamer University exam was created by Alex, a former pro streamer turned educator, to evaluate who really understands this world, beyond just clicking buttons or knowing game mechanics. When Elon announced on social media that he wanted to take this exam, the community exploded with excitement and disbelief. The guy who builds rockets thinks he can ace a meme quiz, they wondered. Some fans believed in his genius, others were skeptical. Elon, known for his confidence but sometimes awkward social skills, was ready to prove he gets it. The exam day arrived at Streamer University, a quirky campus filled with neon lights, gaming setups, and energetic young creators. Elon walked in, dressed casually, his expression a mix of calm determination and subtle nerves. Alex, the exam creator, watched from the sidelines, wondering if this test would humble the tech titan or reveal a new side of him. The first section started easy enough, questions about popular memes, emotes, and Twitch slang. Elon's responses were not great. He confused some references, missed key jokes, and stumbled over phrases that every regular streamer would know. The crowd watching the live feed started to murmur. But then came the technical section. Here, Elon's expertise shined. He aced questions about streaming hardware setups, software tricks, and even the algorithms that drive viewer engagement. Alex realized that while Elon struggled with the cultural side, his technical genius was undeniable. The next test involved live interaction with fans and moderators. This was where streaming becomes less about tech and more about connection. Elon's blunt, sometimes overly honest responses clashed with the playful, casual tone the community expects. Some viewers found it refreshing, others thought he was tone-deaf. Frustration built as Elon tried to balance authenticity with charm, but it was clear he was out of his element. Flashbacks during the exam showed moments from Elon's past, times when his social awkwardness and struggles to fit in were painfully evident. These glimpses helped explain why he found this cultural fluency so difficult. Alex, noticing his struggle, offered quiet encouragement, sharing that she too had once felt lost in this fast-changing world. Near the exam's midpoint, Elon broke down briefly, questioning why he was failing what seemed to him like simple stuff. But instead of giving up, he shifted tactics. He began to approach the test with humility, asking questions and showing genuine curiosity. This change shifted the energy in the room. Then, in a bold move, Elon went live on Twitch mid-exam. The stream exploded. Viewers flooded the chat with a mix of support and playful teasing. Elon improvised, joked about his failures, and showed vulnerability. A side rarely seen by the public. The live interaction humanized him and turned the exam into a viral sensation. The final section was the toughest, a creative streaming challenge where Elon had to produce engaging content in real time. Despite his struggles, he pushed through with grit, showing flashes of innovation mixed with occasional awkwardness. When the results came in, Elon failed overall. The community's reaction was a blend of disappointment, respect, and reflection. Elon publicly accepted the results, highlighting the lessons he'd learned about culture and connection. The exam exposed a gap often overlooked, the difference between technical brilliance and cultural fluency. Experts weighed in, streamers debated, and Alex reflected on the true meaning of passing. Elon's story became a symbol of humility and growth, inspiring others to embrace failure as part of learning. In the aftermath, support came from unexpected places. Gamers, educators, and fans invited him to collaborate, mentor, and learn more. Elon vowed to bridge the worlds of tech and culture, partnering with Alex to create new learning tools. This story reminds us all that even the brightest minds can stumble, but real growth happens when you embrace the journey with an open heart. So, what pushes you forward when things get tough? Share your story below, because sometimes, the greatest victories come from the lessons in failure. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? Elon Musk is a name everyone knows, a man whose innovations have shaped the modern world in ways few can match. From electric cars with Tesla to rockets with SpaceX, he's been called a genius, a visionary, and sometimes even a mad scientist. But behind all the headlines and breakthroughs lies a more complex picture of a person who is brilliant but not infallible. Elon's journey began long before his fame, in South Africa where he was born, growing up with a fascination for computers and technology. As a kid, he taught himself to code and created a video game that he sold at the age of 12. His early love for technology laid the foundation for his future, but it didn't come without struggles. Elon was often bullied at school, feeling isolated and misunderstood, and that experience shaped his drive to prove himself. When he moved to North America, first to Canada and then to the United States, Elon threw himself into his studies and early startups. Yet, even as his companies took off, he grappled with social situations and connecting with people outside of his technical circle. His communication style was often described as blunt, direct, and at times awkward, traits that could clash with more casual or emotional environments. Despite his extraordinary success, Elon's personal relationships were complicated. He went through high-profile marriages and divorces, and while he was known to have close bonds with his children, his intense work ethic sometimes put strain on friendships and romantic partnerships. This aspect of his life added layers of complexity to the man who was often seen as a machine pushing the boundaries of technology. What most people don't know is Elon's secret fascination with gaming and streaming culture. Over the years, he made headlines for playing video games publicly, appearing on Twitch streams, and even teasing that he wanted to build a gaming company. But for all his enthusiasm, Elon remained an outsider to the streaming community, a world driven not just by technology but by culture, slang, inside jokes, and unspoken social rules. Many in the gaming world saw him as an interesting figure, but some questioned whether he truly understood the culture that had grown up around gaming and live streaming. This gap between Elon's technical genius and cultural fluency is exactly what set the stage for the Streamer University exam. The exam was designed by Alex, a former professional streamer who transitioned into education, creating a comprehensive test that measures real knowledge of the streaming world. It's not just about gaming skills, it covers everything from the latest memes and Twitch emotes to live interaction skills and community building. Alex wanted to challenge the idea that anyone could just jump into streaming and get it without understanding the culture's nuances. When Elon announced his intent to take this exam publicly, it was met with a mixture of excitement, skepticism, and curiosity. Could the man who revolutionized cars and rockets ace a test designed to measure cultural fluency and social skills in the digital age? Or would his technical brilliance fall short in this new arena? As the exam date approached, both Elon and the streaming community prepared in their own ways. Elon studied what he could, watching popular Twitch streams, reading about gaming trends, and trying to absorb the language of memes and slang. Yet, his approach was methodical, almost clinical, highlighting how different his learning style was from the casual, spontaneous way most streamers interact. On the other side, the streaming community was buzzing with anticipation. Streamers of all levels followed the story closely, placing bets and sharing opinions. Some hoped Elon would succeed, seeing it as a chance to bridge worlds. Others doubted he would pass, believing the exam's cultural aspects would be too much for him. Alex felt the weight of responsibility as the exam creator. She knew this was more than just a test, it was a moment for the streaming community to show what really matters and for Elon to confront a challenge that went beyond his usual expertise. She remembered her own early days streaming, the struggles to find her voice and connect authentically with an audience. This exam was a way to pass that experience forward, teaching not just knowledge but humility and growth. The dynamic between Elon and Alex was fascinating. While Elon was confident in his technical knowledge, he was entering unfamiliar territory with the exam's cultural demands. Alex, with her deep roots in the community, represented the heart of streaming culture, emphasizing emotional intelligence, humor, and social connection. Their interaction promised a clash but also an opportunity for mutual learning. Beyond Elon's personal story, the exam highlighted a larger cultural conversation happening across the tech and entertainment worlds. As technology advances rapidly, cultural fluency becomes an essential skill, one that can't be taught by logic or engineering alone. It requires empathy, adaptability, and a willingness to embrace complexity and imperfection. Elon's journey through the Streamer University exam would expose these tensions vividly. It would reveal that success in one domain doesn't guarantee mastery in another and that even the most brilliant minds must confront their limits and vulnerabilities. For Elon, this exam was more than just a challenge, it was a chance to step outside his comfort zone and engage with a community he had admired but never fully understood. For the streaming world, it was a moment to define what streaming truly means and who belongs in this vibrant, evolving culture. As the story unfolds, you'll see Elon wrestle with his own expectations and the community's judgment, face moments of frustration and breakthrough, and ultimately learn lessons about humility, connection, and growth. So stay tuned and remember to share your thoughts, wherever you're watching from, your story matters. What's one thing you've learned about yourself when stepping into unfamiliar territory? This story isn't just about Elon Musk failing a streaming test, it's about the universal experience of trying, stumbling, and finding new paths forward. The Streamer University exam wasn't just some casual quiz thrown together for fun. It was a comprehensive, carefully crafted test designed by Alex and a team of veteran streamers and educators to evaluate whether someone truly understands the streaming culture from every angle. The exam had gained a reputation in the streaming community as a rite of passage, a way to prove that you weren't just a casual viewer or tech whiz but someone who could navigate the wild world of live streaming with skill and social savvy. It covered 4 major areas: cultural knowledge, technical expertise, social interaction, and creative content. The cultural knowledge section tested familiarity with memes, emotes, internet slang, and the ever-changing trends that define streamer conversations. Knowing what PogChamp means, or the history behind Kappa, or the latest viral meme on TikTok was crucial. Missing these would instantly reveal you as an outsider. The technical expertise portion, on the other hand, measured how well a person could set up streaming equipment, troubleshoot common issues, optimize audio and video quality, and understand the streaming platform algorithms that determine visibility and growth. This section was where many streamers who were great performers but tech-challenged often struggled. The social interaction section was one of the toughest parts. It simulated real-time live chat engagement with fans, moderators, trolls, and sponsors. The test taker had to show emotional intelligence, quick wit, and the ability to maintain a positive atmosphere while handling negativity or unexpected situations gracefully. Finally, the Creative Content Challenge required the test taker to produce a compelling streaming segment in real time, showcasing originality, humor, and the ability to keep an audience engaged for at least 10 minutes. The exam was timed, intense, and pushed candidates to their limits. Alex designed it not only as a test but as a teaching tool. Many who failed still came away with new skills and perspectives. For years, Streamer University had seen talented streamers, social media stars, and gaming enthusiasts pass or fail the exam, but none had drawn as much attention as Elon Musk's upcoming attempt. To the community, it was almost surreal that a billionaire tech mogul, whose companies had revolutionized entire industries, would take the same exam as everyday streamers. This juxtaposition sparked heated debates. Could a man like Elon truly understand the informal, playful, and sometimes chaotic culture of streaming? Or would his logical, data-driven mind struggle to keep up? The exam also had its own traditions and inside jokes that had developed over time. For example, the streamer personality quiz portion poked fun at popular streamer stereotypes, asking candidates to identify if they were more like the hyper-energetic, variety gamer, the chill storyteller, or the competitive pro. These light-hearted questions helped break tension but also revealed how well someone understood community dynamics. Another unique feature was the meme history section, where candidates had to identify the origins and evolutions of famous memes, some dating back years and others fresh from the last 24 hours. This part required constant immersion in the culture, something even longtime streamers found challenging. Alex remembered how she had spent hours updating the exam questions to keep them relevant. What was popular last month might be outdated now, and missing those shifts meant losing credibility. The social interaction portion was run live with a panel of moderators and real-time chat volunteers who tested candidates with everything from friendly questions to trolling attempts. Candidates needed not only knowledge but emotional resilience and a sense of humor. The creative content challenge was also evolving. Instead of just playing games, candidates had to incorporate storytelling, community engagement, and multimedia elements like music and on-screen graphics. It was designed to show who could keep viewers entertained beyond just gameplay skills. When Elon agreed to take the exam, Alex personally revised sections to balance technical depth with cultural nuance, hoping to design a test that would both challenge and teach him. She wanted the exam to reflect the true heart of streaming culture, not just the surface-level knowledge but the deeper social bonds and creativity that define the community. Preparing for Elon's exam, Alex also knew the stakes were higher. This wasn't just about passing or failing, it was about bridging two worlds, the world of cutting-edge technology and innovation, and the world of internet culture and human connection. The streaming community would be watching closely, and so would Elon's millions of followers worldwide. This pressure added weight to every question, every challenge in the exam. The exam's format was structured into 3 parts, spread across a single day. The morning session covered cultural knowledge and technical expertise, the afternoon session was dedicated to live social interaction tests, and the final evening challenge focused on creative content production. Each section would be scored independently, but only by combining all 3 could a candidate truly pass. Alex had prepared a testing environment that mimicked a real streamer's setup, multiple monitors, cameras, microphones, green screens, and a live chat feed monitored by volunteers. It was high-tech but welcoming, designed to make candidates feel comfortable while also under pressure. The room buzzed with energy as Elon arrived, ready to take his seat at the streaming desk. The exam proctors greeted him, explaining the rules, but Elon was already familiar with them. He knew this wasn't about traditional IQ or business acumen, it was a new kind of test. As the clock started ticking, Elon dove into the cultural knowledge section. The first question flashed: what is the meaning of PogChamp and when is it typically used? Elon paused. He had heard the term but never really understood its social context. He guessed it was an expression of excitement, which was correct, but when follow-up questions asked about its origin and why it was removed from Twitch, Elon faltered. He struggled to connect the dots between meme culture and the community's evolving values. As the questions progressed, Elon found some references confusing. He didn't know the subtleties of sub-emotes or the significance of certain inside jokes. The streaming community's humor, which often relied on irony and rapid trend cycles, was something he had tried to study but still felt like a foreign language. When the technical questions came up, Elon's confidence returned. He breezed through inquiries about the best microphones for streaming, how to optimize bitrate for different internet speeds, and even questions about the hidden features in streaming software like OBS Studio. His answers were detailed, accurate, and showed deep understanding. It was clear that while Elon struggled with cultural fluency, his technical skills were top tier. The contrast was striking and puzzled many watching the exam unfold. Moving into the social interaction section, Elon was confronted with simulated live chat challenges. A moderator posed as an enthusiastic fan, another as a sarcastic troll, and a third as a potential sponsor with tricky questions. Elon's direct communication style was at odds with the playful and often sarcastic tone expected on Twitch. When a troll mocked his meme knowledge, Elon responded with a blunt correction instead of a humorous comeback. This reaction divided the chat. Some appreciated his honesty, others found it stiff and out of place. Moderators coached Elon to soften his tone and engage more warmly, but the shift didn't come easily. Despite the awkward moments, Elon's genuine curiosity and willingness to learn shone through. He asked moderators to explain memes and slang he missed, showing humility rare in public figures. This willingness to adapt gave some viewers hope that Elon could bridge the cultural gap. The final creative content challenge was where everything came together, or unraveled. Elon had to produce a 10-minute live segment that combined gaming, storytelling, and audience interaction. The game chosen was one Elon was somewhat familiar with, but his challenge was to keep viewers entertained and engaged using chat prompts and personal anecdotes. Early in the segment, Elon stumbled over jokes that didn't land, and his attempts to riff with chat sometimes missed the mark. But as he found his rhythm, mixing technical insights about the game with stories about his companies and ambitions, viewers warmed up. The stream gained momentum, and by the end, many agreed Elon had shown flashes of the authentic streaming personality he lacked earlier. After the exam concluded, Alex and the panel reviewed the results carefully. Elon had scored well technically, showed real effort in social interaction, but his cultural knowledge gaps were too significant to pass overall. Yet, the exam wasn't designed to humiliate but to teach and inspire. Alex prepared to share the results with Elon and the world, emphasizing the lessons learned rather than the failure itself. In the days that followed, the streaming community buzzed with reactions. Some criticized Elon for not taking the culture seriously enough, others admired his courage to try and fail publicly. The exam had sparked important conversations about what it means to belong in a digital culture, and whether technical brilliance alone is enough in a world driven by human connection. For Alex, the experience reinforced why she had created the Streamer University exam in the first place, to highlight that streaming is a unique blend of skills, culture, and emotional intelligence, and that success comes from embracing all these elements. Elon's willingness to take the exam and his openness to learn became a symbol of humility and growth that resonated far beyond the streaming world. And so, the Streamer University exam stood as a reminder that culture is as important as technology, that empathy and connection matter as much as skills and knowledge, and that even the most brilliant minds must sometimes step outside their comfort zones to grow. After the exam, Elon found himself at a crossroads he hadn't anticipated. The failure was public and raw, but more importantly, it sparked a personal reckoning. How could a man who had mastered rockets and electric cars find himself so out of place in a culture he admired? Elon's world had always been about innovation, logic, and progress, but streaming was something different. It was fluid, chaotic, and deeply human. The day after the exam, Elon sat in his office, surrounded by futuristic gadgets and whiteboards filled with equations, yet his mind was elsewhere. He kept replaying moments from the test, the awkward replies, the memes he didn't get, the chat interactions that felt alien. He realized he had approached streaming like a technical problem to solve, rather than a community to join. This realization marked the beginning of a new journey, one where Elon committed to understanding streaming culture from the inside out. He started by reaching out to Alex, the exam creator, not as a challenger but as a student. Alex welcomed him warmly, surprised but pleased by Elon's humility. Together, they crafted a plan for Elon to immerse himself in the streaming world, not as a billionaire outsider but as a learner. Over the next weeks, Elon dedicated himself to this new path. He watched countless hours of live streams, not just popular ones but also smaller creators whose communities thrived on authenticity and connection. He took notes on slang, watched how streamers handled their chats, and observed the rhythms of live interaction. But immersion wasn't enough. Elon also wanted to experience streaming firsthand, so with Alex's help, he set up a basic streaming rig at home. His first few streams were awkward, his timing off, jokes missing, and chat interactions hesitant. Yet, each session brought small improvements. Elon began to understand that streaming wasn't about perfection, it was about showing up, making mistakes, and building trust with viewers over time. During this period, Elon also reflected on his own past and how it shaped his approach to communication. Growing up feeling like an outsider, he realized he had developed habits of bluntness and focusing on facts to protect himself. Streaming culture, by contrast, valued emotional openness, humor, and playfulness. This clash explained much of his early exam struggles. Slowly, Elon started to adjust his style. He learned to read the tone of the chat, to respond with humor instead of correction, and to let go of needing every answer to be right. This process was uncomfortable but transformative. His streams became more relaxed and engaging. Viewers noticed, and his follower count grew, not because of his fame but because of the genuine effort he put in. Meanwhile, Alex watched this transformation with admiration. She documented Elon's progress, sharing clips of his journey on social media to inspire others. Elon's story became a case study in growth, showing that even the most accomplished individuals can learn and evolve in unexpected ways. Beyond streaming skills, Elon's immersion also gave him new insights into how culture and technology intersect. He saw that streaming was not just entertainment but a complex ecosystem where identity, community, and innovation coexisted. This understanding inspired new ideas for his companies, ways to better integrate social elements into technology, to design tools that foster human connection rather than isolation. One day, during a late-night stream, something remarkable happened. Elon was playing a popular indie game and interacting with his chat when a viewer asked a simple but profound question: "What made you want to keep learning streaming after failing the exam?" Elon paused, then replied honestly, "Because I realized that knowing stuff isn't enough. You have to care, and you have to connect. That's what I want to get better at." That moment resonated deeply with viewers, many of whom shared their own stories of failure and persistence. It became a turning point in Elon's streaming journey, symbolizing his shift from outsider to participant. But the journey wasn't without setbacks. Elon still struggled with some cultural references and occasionally slipped into technical jargon that confused his audience. There were moments of frustration and self-doubt. Yet, instead of retreating, he used these as learning opportunities. He invited feedback from his chat, asked for explanations of memes he missed, and even collaborated with younger streamers to understand trends better. This openness endeared him to the community and helped break down barriers between the tech titan and the everyday streamer. As Elon's skills grew, so did his ambitions. He and Alex began discussing ways to formalize this learning process, envisioning a new kind of educational platform that combined streaming culture with technical training. They imagined a space where anyone, from beginners to seasoned pros, could develop not only skills but also cultural fluency and emotional intelligence. Their conversations explored innovative ideas, interactive courses with live mentors, AI tools that adapt to individual learning styles, and community-driven feedback systems. This collaboration sparked excitement in both tech and streaming circles, blurring the lines between entertainment and education. Meanwhile, the media coverage of Elon's streaming journey added another layer of complexity. Headlines shifted from mocking his exam failure to praising his dedication and growth. Interviews and podcasts featured Elon discussing vulnerability, the importance of cultural literacy, and the future of digital communities. Yet, not everyone was convinced. Critics argued that Elon's attempt was a publicity stunt or that he could never truly belong to the streaming world because of his status and influence. These criticisms fueled Elon's determination to prove that genuine effort and humility mattered more than fame or money. One of the most powerful moments came when Elon hosted a charity stream, raising funds for mental health awareness among gamers and creators. The stream brought together diverse voices, from indie developers to top-tier streamers, united by a cause. Elon's role was not just as a host but as a learner and ally, amplifying the community's message. The stream was a huge success, reinforcing the idea that streaming could be a force for good beyond entertainment. As Elon continued this path, he reflected often on the lessons from the exam and his streaming journey. He realized that the ability to connect authentically with people was a form of intelligence just as vital as technical skill. This insight influenced his leadership style, pushing him to foster more empathy and openness in his companies. The story of Elon Musk's streaming journey became more than a tale of failure and redemption. It evolved into a narrative about the future of communication, culture, and learning in the digital age. It showed that no matter how successful or brilliant you are, stepping into new worlds with humility and curiosity is essential. For viewers and creators alike, Elon's experience became a reminder that failure isn't the end but a beginning, a spark that ignites growth and transformation. So as you think about your own challenges and new ventures, remember Elon's story. What if your next failure could lead to your biggest breakthrough? What if the thing you don't understand today becomes your greatest strength tomorrow? The journey continues, and with every step, the line between technology and culture, between genius and humility, becomes a little clearer. Stay tuned, because the adventure is far from over. The next phase of Elon's journey into streaming culture brought him face to face with one of the community's most complex challenges. The emotional climax of connection and vulnerability. Up until this point, Elon had approached streaming with a mix of curiosity and cautious experimentation, learning the ropes and slowly building rapport with his audience. But streaming is more than just sharing gameplay or tech talk, it's about sharing pieces of yourself in real time, with all your imperfections, hopes, and fears laid bare. The emotional climax came unexpectedly during a late-night stream. Elon had invited a close friend, Sarah, a fellow streamer who had built her channel around mental health advocacy and personal storytelling. Sarah's channel was small but powerful, her audience trusted her because she didn't hide her struggles, from anxiety to the challenges of balancing life and online presence. During the stream, Sarah shared a deeply personal story about her recent battle with burnout, how she had pushed herself too hard and lost sight of what made streaming joyful. Elon listened intently, then shared his own story of the exam failure and how it had humbled him. This was the moment Elon crossed a threshold, from merely participating in the culture to opening up emotionally. The chat exploded with messages of support and empathy. Viewers who had once seen Elon as a distant billionaire now felt connected to him as a fellow human being navigating vulnerability. This was the essence of streaming, the unfiltered human experience shared live with a community. The emotional climax continued to build as Elon and Sarah answered questions from viewers about resilience, failure, and the importance of self-care. Elon admitted that his usual approach to challenges, push harder, optimize faster, wasn't always the answer. Sometimes, stepping back and being kind to yourself was the real strength. This honesty resonated deeply, especially with younger viewers facing similar struggles. After that stream, Elon's channel transformed. He incorporated more personal storytelling, blending it with gaming and tech discussions. His chat grew more active and supportive, fostering a safe space where viewers felt encouraged to share their own stories. The sense of community became tangible. But the journey wasn't without its darker moments. Elon faced backlash from critics who accused him of using vulnerability as a performance or doubted the sincerity of his transformation. Trolls attempted to derail streams with cynical comments, testing Elon's emotional resilience. Yet, with the support of Sarah, Alex, and his growing community, Elon learned to navigate these challenges. He developed coping strategies, such as taking breaks when overwhelmed and relying on moderators to maintain a positive environment. This phase taught Elon that emotional strength isn't about avoiding pain but embracing it and growing from it. Around this time, Elon's companies began to take notice of the cultural shift within their leader. Internal communications reflected a new tone. More empathy in messaging, more focus on employee well-being, and innovative projects aimed at improving digital social interactions. Elon's streaming experience was influencing not just his personal life but the ethos of his entire work ecosystem. One project, in particular, stood out, a collaboration with social scientists and technologists to create tools that could detect online toxicity and promote kindness automatically. Inspired by the supportive chat communities he'd experienced, Elon envisioned algorithms that could learn from positive interactions and foster healthier digital spaces. The broader streaming community also took note of Elon's emotional growth. Many streamers invited him to join panels and podcasts on mental health and digital culture. Elon spoke candidly about the importance of emotional intelligence in the tech industry, challenging stereotypes of the cold, calculating CEO. These appearances further humanized him and bridged gaps between different audiences. Meanwhile, Alex continued to support Elon's journey, serving as both mentor and collaborator. Together, they began planning a new edition of the Streamer University exam, one that would include an emotional intelligence component. This edition recognized that streaming success wasn't just about knowledge and skills but also about empathy, communication, and the ability to handle emotional complexity. The new exam would challenge candidates to respond to simulated emotional situations, manage community crises, and demonstrate authentic connection. Elon's experience was the blueprint. As the emotional climax unfolded, Elon also faced personal reflections about the sacrifices required for growth. Balancing his streaming aspirations with his demanding roles as CEO and innovator was difficult. He often felt torn between the digital world where vulnerability thrived and the corporate world where stoicism was valued. This tension highlighted a universal truth: personal transformation isn't linear or easy. It requires constant negotiation between old habits and new understandings. Elon's supporters noticed these struggles and rallied around him. His chat community organized wellness days during streams, encouraging breaks and mindfulness. Collaborations with mental health organizations brought resources and education to viewers and creators alike. Elon's channel became a hub for positive change in the streaming ecosystem. As the emotional climax reached its peak, Elon faced another major event that would define this phase of his journey. During a high-profile charity stream, he was unexpectedly confronted with a deeply personal question from a viewer: "What's the hardest lesson you've learned from failing the Streamer University exam?" The chat went silent as Elon took a moment to collect his thoughts. Then he answered honestly, that success isn't just about knowledge or technology. It's about connection. It's about being willing to be vulnerable and open, even when it's uncomfortable or scary. That's the hardest lesson, and the most important one. This answer struck a chord, sparking waves of support and introspection across the streaming community. The charity stream raised millions for causes supporting mental health and digital education, amplifying the message that emotional intelligence is critical in today's connected world. In the aftermath, Elon's story became a beacon for others struggling with failure, identity, and growth in digital spaces. It proved that even those at the highest levels of achievement must sometimes embrace humility and emotional risk to truly evolve. The emotional climax wasn't an endpoint but a transformation point, where Elon embraced a fuller, richer version of himself, integrating intellect with empathy, strategy with vulnerability. This integration shaped the next stages of his journey and influenced the streaming world at large. As Elon reflected on these events, he shared a powerful message with his viewers: life's biggest breakthroughs often come from our hardest moments. When you're willing to face failure, to open your heart, and to keep moving forward, that's when real growth happens. Streaming taught me that, and I hope it can teach you too. This message became a cornerstone of Elon's streaming identity, inspiring thousands to pursue their passions with courage and authenticity. The story of Elon Musk's emotional climax in streaming culture is a testament to the power of vulnerability, the importance of community, and the transformative potential of failure. It reminds us all that behind every screen is a human being, capable of change and connection. And in a world that often values perfection and speed, taking time to be real and open might just be the most revolutionary act of all. After reaching the emotional peak of his streaming journey, Elon found himself embarking on a climactic new phase that would test everything he had learned so far. This was the chapter where theory met practice in the most intense way, a live, high-stakes collaboration stream with some of the biggest names in gaming and tech culture. The event was organized by Alex and her team as a kind of final exam, a public test not just of Elon's streaming skills, but of his ability to navigate real-time pressure, cultural nuances, and interpersonal dynamics on a grand scale. The setup was monumental. Elon would co-host a 12-hour marathon stream alongside popular streamers, gaming influencers, and content creators, each bringing their own style and audience. The goal was to raise funds for digital literacy programs aimed at helping underserved communities build their own online voices. Elon felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. This wasn't just about streaming games, it was about leading, connecting, and improvising live for a diverse audience of millions. He knew the stakes were high, not just for the fundraiser, but for his own credibility within the streaming community. The day of the marathon arrived, and Elon's setup was ready. The room was filled with cameras, lights, and multiple monitors displaying chat feeds from different platforms. Behind the scenes, Alex and a dedicated crew monitored technical details and coached Elon on timing and tone. As the stream went live, Elon greeted viewers with a new level of ease and warmth. He opened by reflecting on his journey from exam failure to this moment, acknowledging the support he'd received and inviting viewers to join him in the fundraiser's mission. The chat exploded with encouragement and donations. The early hours of the stream were a whirlwind of gameplay, Q&A, and storytelling. Elon played everything from indie puzzle games to fast-paced shooters, adapting to the different styles of his co-hosts. He asked questions, laughed at jokes, and even made a few mistakes, but what mattered was how he handled them. When a technical glitch interrupted the stream, Elon stayed calm, turning the moment into a candid chat about the unpredictability of live content creation. Viewers appreciated the authenticity. As the marathon progressed, Elon's social and cultural fluency continued to grow. He navigated complex conversations about diversity in gaming, the impact of streaming on mental health, and the role of technology in shaping digital communities. Each topic was met with thoughtful responses, showing that Elon had moved beyond surface-level engagement to genuine understanding. During a particularly intense segment, Elon partnered with a well-known streamer named Jasmine, who was renowned for her quick wit and sharp community management. Together, they tackled a challenging multiplayer game while engaging with a lively chat. Jasmine's fast-paced style pushed Elon to keep up, and he rose to the occasion, demonstrating adaptability and teamwork. The chat loved the dynamic, flooding the stream with positive comments and memes celebrating the collaboration. But the climax of the marathon came during a surprise segment planned by Alex, a live community challenge where viewers submitted real-time tasks for Elon to complete. These ranged from answering tricky trivia to performing silly dares, each designed to test Elon's spontaneity and connection with his audience. One particularly memorable moment involved a viewer asking Elon to rap about rocket science while solving a puzzle game. Elon hesitated, then launched into an improvised rap that was awkward but endearing. The chat erupted in laughter and cheers. This moment perfectly captured the essence of streaming, imperfection embraced with humor and heart. As the marathon neared its end, Elon reflected on the emotional roller coaster of the past 12 hours. He shared with his viewers how this experience had crystallized everything he'd learned about failure, vulnerability, and community. He talked about the importance of embracing new challenges without fear and the power of digital spaces to foster empathy and learning. The stream concluded with a heartfelt thank you to everyone who had donated and supported the event. The fundraiser exceeded expectations, raising millions for digital literacy initiatives. More importantly, Elon's performance shattered preconceived notions about what a tech CEO could bring to the streaming world. The public and media response was overwhelmingly positive. Articles praised Elon's growth from exam failure to streaming advocate, highlighting his authenticity and willingness to learn. Streamers and fans alike celebrated the moment as a breakthrough for bridging traditional tech leadership with digital culture. Yet, Elon knew this was just the beginning. The marathon was a culmination of one chapter but also a launchpad for new projects and collaborations. Energized by the event's success, Elon and Alex began exploring ways to expand the educational platform they had envisioned earlier, integrating live streaming, emotional intelligence training, and community building into a comprehensive digital academy. Behind the scenes, Elon's company started investing more in social features that prioritized kindness and connection. The lessons from the streaming journey were influencing product designs and corporate culture in tangible ways. But the real impact was on Elon himself. The marathon had pushed him beyond comfort zones and public scrutiny, proving that growth required taking risks and embracing uncertainty. He felt more grounded, connected, and inspired to keep evolving. In private conversations, Elon spoke about how streaming had reshaped his views on leadership and communication. He emphasized the value of listening deeply, responding with empathy, and recognizing the shared humanity behind every interaction. This shift was subtle but profound, affecting how he led teams and envisioned future innovations. As Chapter 6 closed, Elon looked forward with a sense of possibility. The streaming journey was no longer about proving himself but about contributing to a broader movement, one that valued connection, creativity, and learning in equal measure. His story had become a testament to the transformative power of vulnerability, collaboration, and persistence. And for viewers who had followed from the beginning, Elon's marathon stream was a symbol of hope, that no matter how big the challenge or how daunting the failure, embracing growth with an open heart could lead to unexpected and extraordinary outcomes. Following the success of the marathon stream, Elon's journey took an unexpected turn into the heart of the streaming community's social fabric. Up to this point, Elon had been learning and adapting, but now he faced a new challenge. Building genuine relationships within a culture that valued authenticity over status. Elon began collaborating more deeply with everyday streamers, content creators who weren't celebrities or tech moguls but people with their own struggles, dreams, and quirks. One of Elon's earliest partnerships was with Maya, a mid-tier streamer known for her quirky humor and dedicated community. Maya's channel wasn't flashy, but her viewers felt like family. When Elon reached out to her for a co-stream, Maya was initially skeptical. Could the billionaire innovator really fit in with her laid-back vibe? Their first stream together was a study in contrast. Elon brought precision and structure, while Maya thrived on spontaneity and emotional nuance. There were moments when Elon's seriousness clashed with Maya's light-hearted approach, but these moments also revealed the richness of their dynamic. Over time, Elon learned to let go of perfectionism and embrace the unpredictability of live collaboration. Maya, in turn, appreciated Elon's curiosity and willingness to listen. Their audiences began to overlap, creating a vibrant, mixed community that blended tech enthusiasts with casual gamers. The streams became a safe space for sharing not just gameplay but personal stories and challenges. Through these collaborations, Elon gained insight into the diversity within streaming culture. He met creators from various backgrounds, artists, educators, activists, each contributing unique perspectives. This broadened Elon's understanding of the community's values, creativity, inclusivity, resilience, and above all, connection. One memorable moment came during a charity stream for a local food bank, where Elon and Maya hosted a cooking show combined with gaming challenges. The format was chaotic and unpredictable, but it brought laughter and warmth to the viewers. Elon's attempts at cooking were clumsy, but his willingness to be imperfect endeared him to many. This event further cemented the idea that streaming was about shared experience and humanity. Another partnership that pushed Elon's boundaries was with Jordan, a fast-talking, meme-savvy streamer famous for his sharp wit and rapid-fire chat interaction. Jordan's style was intense and sometimes abrasive, a stark contrast to Elon's thoughtful and measured demeanor. Their joint streams were lively experiments in balancing different energies. Elon learned to match Jordan's pace and humor, while Jordan discovered moments of genuine depth in Elon's reflections. Their chemistry became a highlight for fans who enjoyed watching two very different personalities find common ground. Through these varied collaborations, Elon realized that streaming was not a monolith but a mosaic of cultures and communities. Each creator brought something unique, and success came from honoring those differences rather than trying to impose a one-size-fits-all approach. This lesson reshaped Elon's approach to communication and leadership beyond streaming. The more Elon connected with everyday creators, the more he understood the challenges they faced. Issues like burnout, financial instability, harassment, and the pressure to constantly perform weighed heavily on many. Elon used his platform and resources to advocate for better support systems for creators, partnering with organizations focused on mental health and digital safety. These efforts reflected a growing commitment to not just participate in the community but to give back in meaningful ways. Meanwhile, Elon's own channel evolved into a hub for diverse voices. He regularly invited emerging streamers for guest spots, spotlighting talent and stories that might otherwise go unheard. This inclusivity resonated with viewers who valued representation and authenticity. The chat became a space for respectful dialogue and mutual support, a microcosm of the community Elon hoped to help build. This chapter also revealed personal growth for Elon. He became more attuned to emotional cues, learning to navigate the complexities of interpersonal dynamics in a public forum. He developed a sensitivity to the power of words and the impact of his influence. These insights influenced how he managed not only his streams but his companies, promoting cultures of empathy and openness. One particularly poignant moment occurred during a stream celebrating Pride Month, where Elon shared his own experiences with identity and acceptance. The chat responded with overwhelming support and stories from viewers about their journeys. This event underscored the power of streaming as a platform for connection and social change. As Chapter 7 drew to a close, Elon reflected on the nature of community, how it forms through shared vulnerability, respect, and the willingness to embrace differences. His journey from outsider to active participant had transformed his view of leadership and collaboration. He no longer saw success as solitary achievement but as collective growth. Elon's story at this stage was no longer just about streaming or technology, it was about humanity. For viewers and creators alike, Elon's evolution offered a powerful reminder: no matter who you are or where you come from, genuine connection and openness can bridge divides and spark transformation. And as the streaming world continued to grow and evolve, Elon was ready to be not just a participant but a catalyst for positive change. As Elon's streaming journey deepened, he encountered a new and unexpected frontier: the cultural clash between his high-tech, futurist mindset and the grassroots, community-driven nature of streaming culture. This chapter focused on the tensions and resolutions that arose when innovation met tradition, and how Elon learned to respect the organic growth of a culture that thrived on authenticity rather than polished perfection. Early on, Elon's approach had been shaped by his Silicon Valley experience, prioritizing efficiency, scalability, and cutting-edge technology. He introduced new tools and features on his streams, such as AI chat moderators, advanced analytics, and custom overlays designed to optimize viewer engagement. These innovations impressed some, but they also sparked pushback from parts of the community who feared losing the raw, spontaneous essence that made streaming unique. One incident perfectly illustrated this divide. Elon rolled out a new AI-powered feature that filtered chat comments for toxicity and automatically highlighted positive vibes messages. The idea was to create a safer, more uplifting environment. However, some longtime viewers and fellow streamers criticized the tool for feeling impersonal and intrusive. They argued that moderation should be human, driven by empathy and context, not algorithms. This feedback was a wake-up call for Elon. He realized that while technology could support community, it couldn't replace the human elements that made streaming culture vibrant and real. Instead of pushing his innovations unilaterally, Elon began engaging in open dialogues with community leaders, moderators, and viewers to co-create solutions that balance technology and humanity. These conversations deepened Elon's appreciation for streaming's grassroots origins, how it had grown from small, intimate spaces where viewers and creators built trust over time. He saw streaming not just as a platform but as a living ecosystem, shaped by relationships and shared values. This insight led to a shift in Elon's strategy. Rather than imposing top-down changes, he adopted a collaborative approach, inviting input from diverse voices and testing ideas through community pilots. One successful example was the creation of streamer circles, small groups of creators and viewers who met regularly online to discuss community issues, share feedback, and develop best practices. Elon personally participated in several of these circles, listening to stories about harassment, burnout, and the struggle to maintain authenticity while growing an audience. These intimate settings reminded Elon of the importance of patience and humility in fostering culture. Another challenge arose around the commercialization of streaming. As Elon's own channel grew and his companies invested more in streaming-related ventures, questions about authenticity and corporate influence surfaced. Some viewers worried that the community would be co-opted by profit motives, losing the genuine spirit that had drawn them in. Elon took these concerns seriously. He worked to establish clear boundaries between his corporate interests and his streaming persona, emphasizing transparency and accountability. He also supported initiatives that promoted creator ownership and fair compensation, recognizing that empowering individual creators was key to sustaining a healthy ecosystem. The tension between innovation and tradition came to a head during a major streaming conference where Elon gave a keynote speech. His message highlighted the potential for technology to enhance connection and creativity but also warned against sacrificing authenticity for the sake of growth. The speech was met with mixed reactions. Some praised Elon's balanced vision, while others remained skeptical of his ability to truly understand grassroots culture. Undeterred, Elon saw this moment as an opportunity for learning rather than confrontation. He hosted follow-up panels and informal meetups where community members could engage directly with him and his team. These ongoing dialogues fostered trust and led to concrete improvements in platform features and community support mechanisms. Throughout this chapter, Elon's personal growth mirrored the cultural negotiations he was navigating. He became more comfortable embracing uncertainty and imperfection, recognizing that innovation was not just about technology but about people. He cultivated emotional intelligence and active listening skills, which enhanced his ability to lead and connect authentically. The chapter also explored the stories of individual creators who exemplified this balance between old and new. For example, Lena, a veteran streamer who had built her audience through decades of consistent, heartfelt content, partnered with Elon to pilot new community tools. Her insights helped shape features that honored creator autonomy and nurtured positive interactions. Their collaboration was a powerful symbol of bridging generations and philosophies within streaming culture. As the chapter closed, Elon reflected on the lessons learned from navigating this cultural crossroads. He understood that streaming's future depended on honoring its roots while thoughtfully integrating innovation. Success wasn't about imposing change but cultivating environments where diverse voices could thrive together. For Elon, this realization marked a turning point, one that would guide his actions as a creator, leader, and advocate in the evolving digital landscape. The community he once saw as a challenge had become a source of inspiration and partnership. And as streaming continued to grow into a dominant cultural force, Elon was ready to champion a vision that celebrated authenticity, empathy, and collaborative progress. The deeper Elon immersed himself into the streaming world, the clearer it became that one of the most powerful, yet often overlooked, forces shaping success was emotional resilience. This chapter traced how Elon learned to handle the intense pressures of public scrutiny, online criticism, and the roller coaster of creator burnout. Streaming was a high-risk emotional landscape where one moment of triumph could quickly flip into overwhelming stress. Early on, Elon's public failures and awkward moments had been fodder for memes and harsh comments. At first, he took this criticism personally. The chat rooms buzzed with a mix of encouragement and snark, and Elon struggled to distinguish constructive feedback from toxic negativity. But as he continued streaming, Elon developed strategies for managing this emotional overload. He worked with mental health experts to build routines that balanced work, rest, and reflection. Elon became vocal about mental health in streaming culture, advocating openly for creators to seek support and set boundaries. This advocacy helped break stigmas and open conversations about the psychological toll of constant online presence. One pivotal experience was a private meltdown Elon had after a particularly brutal stream filled with technical glitches and a barrage of negative comments. Feeling isolated and defeated, Elon reached out to his friend Maya, who shared her own struggles with burnout. Their candid conversation was a turning point. Elon realized that vulnerability was not weakness but a bridge to connection and healing. From then on, Elon incorporated regular check-ins with his community, inviting open discussions about mental health. This transparency created a more compassionate environment on his channel and beyond. The chapter also highlighted how Elon's resilience was tested by a public controversy sparked by a misunderstood comment during a live stream. The backlash was swift and harsh, with headlines questioning Elon's intentions and character. Instead of retreating, Elon chose to address the issue head-on. He issued a heartfelt apology, clarified his perspective, and engaged in dialogues to learn and grow. This response earned respect from many and demonstrated the power of accountability in public life. Alongside these challenges, Elon also experienced moments of profound joy and connection that fueled his resilience. He shared stories from fans who credited his streams with helping them through tough times, and he celebrated milestones with his community in ways that felt genuine and uplifting. These positive interactions were reminders of why he had embraced streaming despite the risks. The chapter concluded with Elon reflecting on resilience not as an individual trait but a collective strength. He emphasized the importance of community support, empathy, and self-care in sustaining a long-term presence in the digital world. His journey illustrated that resilience was built through a combination of vulnerability, learning, and the courage to keep moving forward despite setbacks. For viewers and creators alike, Elon's evolving approach to emotional resilience offered both inspiration and practical guidance, a testament to the human spirit behind the screens. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? Elon's streaming journey as he began to grapple with the balance between personal life and the demands of an increasingly public digital persona. The spotlight was bright and unrelenting, every stream, every interaction, every slip-up was magnified and dissected by millions. While Elon had grown more comfortable with the technical and social challenges of streaming, the emotional toll of constant exposure presented a new set of complexities. Elon's life before streaming had been a relatively private one, focused on innovation, business strategy, and family. Streaming had thrust him into a world where boundaries blurred, and the distinction between the private and public selves became fragile. The chapter opened with Elon confronting a simple but profound question: how do you stay true to yourself when millions are watching? This question drove much of his internal struggle throughout the chapter. Elon found that maintaining authenticity required vulnerability, sharing not only successes and insights but also fears, doubts, and moments of imperfection. Yet, doing so risked overexposure and losing personal privacy. Early on, Elon tried to compartmentalize, keeping his streams lighthearted and focused on content rather than personal issues. However, this approach created distance between him and the community, who craved connection beyond the surface. One of the most significant moments came during a late-night stream when Elon unexpectedly shared a candid story about his childhood struggles with loneliness and pressure to succeed. The chat responded with overwhelming empathy and support. This moment revealed to Elon the power of personal storytelling in building trust and deepening relationships. But it also opened Pandora's box. Once personal stories were shared, viewers expected more transparency, and Elon had to learn to navigate these expectations while protecting his own well-being. Elon's family played a crucial role in this chapter. His partner and children provided grounding and perspective, reminding him of life beyond the screen. However, they also experienced the spillover effects of Elon's streaming fame, dealing with unwanted attention and privacy concerns. Elon worked hard to shield them from the public eye, setting clear boundaries about what was shared and what remained private. The chapter described intimate scenes where Elon struggled with guilt over time spent away from family due to streaming commitments. These tensions highlighted the human cost of digital celebrity and the need for balance. Alongside family, Elon cultivated a close circle of friends and mentors who supported him emotionally and professionally. They provided a safe space to decompress and offered honest feedback when Elon faced difficult decisions. These relationships were vital in helping Elon maintain his sense of self amid the whirlwind of online life. The chapter also delved into Elon's evolving understanding of community responsibility. As his influence grew, he recognized that his actions and words had real-world impacts. He became intentional about using his platform to promote positive values, kindness, curiosity, resilience, and to amplify underrepresented voices. This sense of purpose helped Elon align his personal values with his public persona, easing the tension between privacy and openness. Technically, Elon experimented with new streaming formats that allowed him to engage more personally without sacrificing boundaries. He introduced off-the-cuff sessions where he answered viewer questions candidly but within limits he set. These formats became popular, creating a sense of intimacy and spontaneity without the pressure of full disclosure. Throughout the chapter, Elon wrestled with the paradox of digital life, the desire for connection and impact versus the need for solitude and self-care. This tension was portrayed through vivid scenes of Elon preparing for streams late at night, juxtaposed with quiet moments of reflection and meditation. The writing captured the emotional nuance, the exhilaration of live interaction alongside the exhaustion of constant performance. A turning point came when Elon decided to take a planned hiatus from streaming to focus on mental health and family. This decision was met with mixed reactions. Some fans expressed disappointment, while others respected his honesty. The hiatus provided Elon with time to recharge and reflect deeply on his streaming journey and future direction. As Chapter 10 concluded, Elon shared a message of hope and balance with his community, that it was possible to build meaningful digital connections without losing oneself. He emphasized that self-care, boundaries, and authentic communication were not signs of weakness but essential practices for sustainable engagement. For viewers and creators alike, Elon's journey illuminated the complex dance between visibility and privacy, ambition and vulnerability, connection and solitude. His story encouraged embracing the full spectrum of human experience in the digital age, imperfect, evolving, and deeply real. Elon had begun to fully grasp that streaming was not just a platform for entertainment or self-promotion but a powerful medium for storytelling and social impact. This realization shifted his focus from individual success to community empowerment and advocacy. The chapter unfolded with Elon stepping into roles that challenged him to use his influence responsibly and creatively, navigating the intersection of culture, technology, and social change. One of the most significant developments was Elon's growing involvement with grassroots movements within the streaming world. He connected with creators who used their platforms to address social issues such as mental health awareness, racial justice, environmental activism, and accessibility. These interactions broadened Elon's understanding of the diverse ways streaming could serve as a catalyst for positive change beyond entertainment. A key moment came when Elon participated in a collaborative project organized by a coalition of creators dedicated to mental health advocacy. The initiative included charity streams, educational panels, and community outreach. Elon's involvement was hands-on. He contributed ideas, helped amplify messages, and shared his own vulnerabilities. This experience deepened his commitment to using his platform for good and inspired him to integrate social consciousness more intentionally into his content. Alongside advocacy, Elon explored the art of storytelling through streaming. He experimented with narrative-driven formats that combined gameplay with personal anecdotes, historical insights, and cultural commentary. These streams were immersive experiences that engaged viewers emotionally and intellectually. Elon's storytelling style evolved to emphasize empathy, context, and nuance, moving away from superficial spectacle toward meaningful connection. This shift resonated strongly with his audience, many of whom shared their own stories and found inspiration in Elon's transparency. The chapter highlighted several powerful stories from viewers, people who had found community, hope, or a voice through Elon's streams. These testimonies reinforced the idea that streaming was a two-way street, where creators and viewers co-created meaning and belonging. Elon's engagement with social issues also prompted reflection on the ethical responsibilities of influencers. He wrestled with questions about representation, cultural sensitivity, and the potential pitfalls of performative activism. To navigate these challenges, Elon sought guidance from experts and community leaders, committed to learning and growing rather than assuming he had all the answers. This humility endeared him further to viewers who valued authenticity. The chapter also explored Elon's collaboration with organizations outside the streaming world, such as nonprofits and advocacy groups. These partnerships allowed Elon to extend his impact beyond the screen, mobilizing resources and awareness for causes that mattered. For example, Elon spearheaded a fundraiser supporting digital literacy programs for underserved youth, combining his technological expertise with community activism. These efforts demonstrated a holistic approach to social impact, one that integrated online presence, real-world action, and long-term commitment. On a personal level, Elon's storytelling journey deepened his emotional intelligence and creativity. He learned to craft narratives that honored complexity and invited reflection, balancing entertainment with education. This artistic growth complemented his technical skills, making him a more versatile and compelling creator. The chapter also touched on the challenges of navigating controversy and differing opinions within social advocacy. Elon faced criticism from some quarters for his approach, which some saw as too cautious or inconsistent. These experiences tested Elon's resilience and commitment to dialogue, teaching him the importance of listening and adapting while standing firm on core values. As Chapter 11 drew to a close, Elon reflected on the transformative power of storytelling as a tool for empathy and change. He understood that streaming was more than just a job or hobby, it was a platform with the potential to shape culture, challenge norms, and inspire action. For viewers and creators alike, Elon's journey underscored the importance of intentionality and integrity in digital influence. His story encouraged embracing streaming not only as entertainment but as a meaningful form of expression and connection capable of making a difference. With renewed purpose and insight, Elon prepared to explore the next phase of his journey, one where creativity, community, and social impact converged in powerful new ways. Elon's streaming odyssey. One that tested his adaptability and creativity as he experimented with innovative content formats and pushed the boundaries of what streaming could be. Having embraced the importance of storytelling, social impact, and community, Elon now sought to fuse these elements with immersive technology and interactive experiences. This chapter traced his ambitious efforts to redefine engagement, challenge conventional norms, and ignite new forms of connection between creator and audience. The journey began with Elon diving into virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR, integration in streaming. Fascinated by the potential to create immersive, multisensory experiences, Elon collaborated with developers and designers to build experimental streams where viewers could step inside digital worlds alongside him. These streams were unlike anything typical on platforms like Twitch or YouTube gaming. Viewers could explore environments in 360 degrees, interact with objects, and influence the narrative in real time. Elon's ventures into VR/AR streaming were both thrilling and fraught with technical challenges. Early attempts were marked by glitches, lag, and learning curves for both Elon and his audience. But these hurdles only fueled Elon's determination. He approached each failure as data for iteration, engaging his community in problem-solving and celebrating small victories together. The chapter described vivid scenes of Elon navigating virtual landscapes, from futuristic cityscapes to fantastical realms. While chatting with viewers who experienced the action through VR headsets or interactive overlays. The emotional resonance of these streams was profound, viewers felt not just spectators but participants in an unfolding adventure. Alongside VR, Elon experimented with interactive storytelling formats that blended scripted narrative, live improvisation, and audience participation. These streams resembled collaborative theater, where Elon and guest creators played characters whose decisions were shaped by chat votes and live feedback. The result was dynamic, unpredictable, and deeply engaging content that blurred lines between gaming, performance art, and social experiment. Elon's willingness to embrace risk and uncertainty became a hallmark of this phase. He invited criticism and diverse perspectives, openly discussing what worked and what didn't. This transparency fostered trust and encouraged innovation among his community. Beyond technology, Elon explored new thematic territory in his content. Inspired by global cultures and histories, he crafted streams that spotlighted underrepresented stories and voices, inviting experts and activists as guests. These streams expanded the horizon of what gaming and streaming could address, making the platform a space for education and cultural exchange. The chapter also highlighted the collaborative spirit that fueled these innovations. Elon worked closely with a diverse team of creators, engineers, artists, and community moderators. Their collective creativity and dedication transformed ambitious ideas into immersive realities. Elon's leadership style evolved to be more facilitative than directive, empowering others to contribute their strengths and vision. While these explorations garnered excitement and acclaim, they also posed new pressures. The technical demands of VR/AR streaming required constant upgrades, troubleshooting, and investment. Audience expectations rose as fans anticipated ever more spectacular experiences. Elon grappled with balancing innovation with sustainability, ensuring that the pursuit of novelty did not overshadow the core values of authenticity and community connection. In parallel, Elon reflected on the philosophical implications of immersive streaming. What did it mean to be present in virtual spaces? How could technology enhance empathy rather than create escape or alienation? These questions deepened Elon's understanding of his role not just as entertainer but as a steward of emerging digital cultures. The chapter concluded with Elon preparing for a landmark event, a multi-day, fully immersive virtual festival combining gaming, music, art, and social activism. This ambitious project aimed to showcase the possibilities of the new streaming frontier and bring together a global community in celebration and reflection. For viewers and creators alike, Elon's journey into immersive streaming was a testament to the power of curiosity, collaboration, and courage in pushing the boundaries of human connection. His story illuminated how technology, when guided by intention and empathy, could open new pathways for storytelling, belonging, and transformation in the digital age. Elon's first major virtual streaming festival, an ambitious event that represented the culmination of months of planning, technical innovation, and community collaboration. This festival was designed as a groundbreaking convergence of gaming, music, art, and activism, all taking place entirely in immersive virtual environments. The stakes were high. Elon knew this event could either cement his reputation as a pioneering creator or expose the limits of his vision. The festival was named Streamscape and promised to be unlike anything the streaming world had ever seen. The marketing campaign buzzed with anticipation, and a diverse lineup of guest creators, performers, and activists prepared to participate. The chapter opened on the frenetic days leading up to the launch. Elon and his team faced technical hurdles, logistical challenges, and the pressure of audience expectations. The narrative painted a vivid picture of Elon coordinating across time zones, troubleshooting software bugs, and rehearsing interactive segments with performers. Despite setbacks, Elon's leadership and the community's enthusiasm fueled momentum. When Streamscape finally launched, it unfolded as a kaleidoscope of experiences. Viewers entered virtual venues designed as fantastical landscapes, floating islands, neon-lit cities, enchanted forests, each hosting different performances and interactive activities. Through VR headsets or accessible desktop modes, attendees could explore freely, chat with each other, and influence live events. Elon hosted a keynote session that blended live commentary with augmented reality visuals, sharing behind-the-scenes insights and welcoming participants. The energy was electric. The festival featured music concerts where virtual bands performed with avatars dancing in sync with live streams. Art exhibitions showcased digital installations that responded to audience input in real time. Activist panels addressed pressing social issues, inviting global voices to share perspectives and call for action. Elon's own streams combined gameplay with storytelling segments inspired by the festival's themes of connection, resilience, and hope. The chapter captured moments of magic and humanity, the joy of shared discovery, the emotional power of music, and the inspiration sparked by collective engagement. Yet, the festival also revealed the challenges inherent in large-scale virtual events. Technical glitches occasionally disrupted performances, some viewers faced accessibility barriers, and the sheer scale made personal connection difficult at times. Elon and his team responded rapidly to feedback, demonstrating adaptability and commitment to improvement. Beyond the spectacle, Streamscape served as a laboratory for new forms of community building. Elon emphasized inclusivity, featuring voices often marginalized in mainstream media. The festival's open spaces encouraged spontaneous interactions, collaborations, and creative expression. For many attendees, the event was transformative. A space where technology and humanity intertwined to foster belonging and empowerment. Throughout the chapter, Elon reflected on the lessons of Streamscape. He recognized that innovation required humility and openness to failure. Success was not just measured in viewership numbers but in the depth of connection and impact. The festival ignited conversations about the future of streaming as a cultural platform and the ethical responsibilities of creators wielding digital influence. As the event concluded, Elon announced plans to make Streamscape an annual tradition, evolving it based on community input and emerging technologies. The chapter closed with a sense of optimism and possibility, a vision of streaming as a vibrant, inclusive, and transformative space. This evolution allowed Elon to delegate responsibilities, focus on strategic creativity, and foster a collaborative environment. The chapter painted scenes of dynamic brainstorming sessions, creative workshops, and team-building activities that energized the group. Innovation continued through smaller, more experimental projects that balanced ambition with manageability. Elon revisited the concept of storytelling, refining his approach to blend authenticity with entertainment while incorporating lessons learned from the festival. He embraced formats that allowed deeper audience interaction, personal reflection, and social impact without overwhelming production demands. The chapter also explored Elon's expanding role as a mentor and thought leader within the streaming community. He hosted workshops, participated in panels, and contributed to initiatives supporting emerging creators. Elon's willingness to share his experiences openly made him a respected figure and a source of inspiration. Philosophically, Elon reflected on the nature of success in the digital age. He challenged conventional metrics focused solely on numbers and fame, advocating instead for definitions rooted in impact, well-being, and meaningful connection. This perspective influenced how he shaped future projects and engaged with his audience. As Chapter 14 drew to a close, Elon articulated a renewed vision for his streaming career, one centered on sustainability, creativity, and community empowerment. He embraced the inherent uncertainties of the digital frontier while grounding himself in core values of empathy, authenticity, and curiosity. For viewers and creators, Elon's journey offered valuable insights into navigating the highs and lows of a public creative life. His story underscored that resilience and growth arise not from avoiding challenges but from embracing them with openness and intention. The chapter ended on a hopeful note, with Elon looking forward to new adventures, collaborations, and opportunities to push the boundaries of storytelling and connection in the streaming world. Elon embarking on a new experiment in content creation, integrating real-world experiences into his streams in a way that blurred the line between virtual and physical realities. This phase of his journey was fueled by a desire to create deeper, more tangible connections with his audience, moving beyond the screen to incorporate the unpredictability and authenticity of life itself. Elon began planning a series of streams called On the Road, where he would travel across different American cities and towns, capturing stories, cultures, and encounters that reflected the diversity and complexity of the country. The concept was ambitious and risk-laden. Unlike the controlled environments of his studio or virtual spaces, traveling streams meant dealing with technical challenges such as unstable internet connections, unpredictable weather, and spontaneous interactions with strangers. Elon embraced these uncertainties as integral to the experience, inviting viewers to join him on a journey that was as much about discovery as entertainment. The chapter described Elon's preparations, researching locations, coordinating with local communities, and assembling a mobile streaming setup that was both lightweight and powerful. Elon wanted to ensure quality while preserving the freedom to roam and respond to unfolding events. His team supported him remotely, monitoring streams, troubleshooting issues, and interacting with the audience in chat. Elon's first stops included a mix of iconic American landmarks and lesser-known neighborhoods, chosen to showcase a wide spectrum of stories. He visited a small town in the Midwest grappling with economic transition, a coastal city with a vibrant art scene, and a bustling urban neighborhood rich in cultural history. Each location brought unique encounters: local activists, artists, entrepreneurs, and everyday residents who shared candid insights into their lives, hopes, and challenges. Elon approached these interactions with curiosity and humility, prioritizing listening over lecturing. The chapter illustrated how the streams became a platform for amplifying authentic voices, fostering empathy, and sparking dialogue. Viewers responded enthusiastically, drawn by the rawness and spontaneity of the content. Chat discussions buzzed with questions, reflections, and shared experiences, creating a dynamic community dialogue that extended beyond the screen. Elon's On the Road series also deepened his own understanding of America's social fabric. The journey exposed him to the complexities of regional identities, economic disparities, and cultural resilience. These experiences challenged some of his preconceived notions and inspired new ideas for content that honored nuance and diversity. Technically, Elon adapted his streaming style to the mobile format. He experimented with handheld cameras, drones, and live interviews, creating a cinematic feel that contrasted with traditional sit-down streams. His narration was conversational and introspective, inviting viewers into his thought process as he navigated new environments. The chapter described moments of tension and triumph, lost connections that led to creative improvisations, unexpected acts of kindness from strangers, and breathtaking scenery that added emotional depth to the streams. Alongside the excitement, Elon confronted the personal toll of travel, the physical exhaustion, the solitude between stops, and the emotional weight of bearing witness to complex social issues. The narrative revealed Elon's reflections on resilience and empathy, emphasizing the importance of self-care even amid meaningful engagement. The chapter also examined the impact of Elon's travels on his community. Some viewers felt inspired to explore their own neighborhoods with renewed curiosity, while others connected with the stories shared, feeling seen and heard in new ways. Elon's platform became a bridge linking disparate experiences and fostering a sense of shared humanity. As the On the Road series progressed, Elon experimented with collaborative streams, inviting local creators and community leaders to co-host segments. These partnerships enriched the content and highlighted the value of diverse perspectives. Elon's openness to learning and collaboration strengthened his reputation as an inclusive and thoughtful creator. Toward the chapter's conclusion, Elon reflected on the broader meaning of his travels. The streams were not just about sightseeing or entertainment but about cultivating understanding and connection in a fragmented world. He saw technology as a tool to bring people together, but recognized that genuine connection required effort, openness, and respect. The chapter ended with Elon preparing for the next leg of his journey, energized by the stories collected and eager to continue exploring the rich tapestry of American life. For viewers and creators, Elon's On the Road series was a powerful reminder that behind every screen lies a real world full of stories waiting to be told, and that authenticity, curiosity, and empathy remain the most compelling currencies in digital storytelling. Elon returning from his On the Road series feeling inspired but also confronted by the complexities of the stories he had encountered. The chapter explored how this deeper engagement with real-world experiences began to influence not only his streaming content but also his personal philosophy and creative direction. Elon's journey of transformation became more introspective, prompting him to question what it truly meant to connect and create meaning in a digital age saturated with content yet often lacking in depth. With his newfound insights, Elon set out to evolve his streaming approach by focusing on authenticity and vulnerability, qualities he had seen resonate deeply with his audience during his travels. He began sharing more candid reflections about his own struggles, doubts, and hopes, inviting viewers into his internal world rather than projecting an idealized persona. This shift was risky but powerful, as it cultivated a stronger sense of trust and empathy. The chapter described how Elon integrated these personal narratives with interactive formats, encouraging viewers to share their own stories and create a dialogue rather than a one-way broadcast. This co-creation of content fostered a vibrant community where people felt seen and supported. Elon also experimented with slow streaming, deliberately slowing down the pace of his content to focus on thoughtful conversation, mindful observation, and deep listening. These streams contrasted sharply with the fast, high-energy style common in the platform, offering a meditative space for both creator and audience. This approach aligned with Elon's growing commitment to mental health awareness, a cause that had gained prominence in his advocacy work. Throughout the chapter, Elon wrestled with the tension between maintaining audience engagement and staying true to this quieter, more contemplative style. He learned to balance entertainment with meaningful connection, adapting without compromising his values. The chapter further explored Elon's expanding collaborations with mental health professionals, activists, and organizations. He hosted panels and discussions that integrated expert knowledge with lived experience, making mental health a recurring theme in his streams. Elon's openness about his own challenges encouraged viewers to seek help and destigmatized conversations around emotional well-being. This advocacy deepened the impact of his platform beyond entertainment, positioning Elon as a trusted figure in a vital social dialogue. Elon also reflected on the ethical responsibilities that came with this influence. He was mindful of avoiding oversimplification or exploitation of serious issues, striving instead to create spaces for nuanced, respectful conversations. The chapter highlighted moments where Elon navigated controversy with humility and grace, learning from feedback and growing in his role as a socially conscious creator. On a personal level, Elon's evolution was marked by increased self-awareness and emotional maturity. He developed practices to maintain balance, such as setting boundaries, prioritizing rest, and seeking support from mentors and peers. These changes enhanced his resilience and creativity, allowing him to sustain his work over the long term. The chapter described how this growth was reflected in Elon's storytelling, which became richer, more layered, and deeply human. Visually and thematically, Elon experimented with minimalist aesthetics and subtle narrative techniques to convey complexity and emotion. His streams featured moments of silence, pauses for reflection, and symbolic imagery that invited interpretation. This artistry distinguished Elon's content in a crowded digital space. As Chapter 16 drew to a close, Elon pondered the future of streaming and digital culture. He envisioned a landscape where creators prioritized depth over virality, connection over clicks, and authenticity over spectacle. Elon committed to being part of this shift, advocating for a more humane and thoughtful digital environment. For viewers and creators, Elon's journey in this chapter offered a powerful example of how vulnerability, mindfulness, and social responsibility could redefine success in the streaming world. His story underscored that meaningful connection requires courage and intentionality but can lead to profound personal and communal transformation. The chapter ended with Elon preparing to launch a new series focused on storytelling as healing, a project that would weave together his experiences, community voices, and expert insights to explore the power of narrative to foster resilience and hope. Elon launching his new series, Narratives of Healing, a project born from his deepening commitment to exploring storytelling as a tool for resilience and transformation. This series represented a bold departure from his previous high-energy, spectacle-driven streams, instead embracing intimacy, reflection, and community participation. Elon invited viewers to share their own stories of struggle, growth, and hope, creating a collective tapestry of human experience that transcended digital boundaries. The chapter began by detailing Elon's preparation for the series, curating stories from his audience, collaborating with psychologists and narrative therapists, and designing a format that balanced live interaction with structured storytelling segments. Elon was intentional about creating a safe, supportive environment where vulnerability was honored and healing was possible. The early episodes featured Elon and guests sharing personal narratives, unpacking themes of loss, trauma, and recovery. These streams were marked by raw emotion and thoughtful dialogue, fostering a sense of solidarity among participants. Viewers responded with overwhelming support, often opening up in chat or submitting stories that were featured in subsequent episodes. Elon's approach emphasized the power of narrative not just as entertainment, but as a means of meaning-making and connection. The chapter described powerful moments from the series, stories that moved Elon and the audience to tears, instances of spontaneous healing, and the creation of new friendships across geographical and cultural divides. These moments underscored the potential of streaming platforms to serve as digital sanctuaries where real human needs could be addressed. Alongside these emotional threads, Elon continued to experiment with innovative streaming techniques to enhance the storytelling experience. He integrated visual art, music, and interactive polls to engage multiple senses and invite audience participation in shaping the narrative arc. This multimodal approach enriched the content, making it immersive and dynamic while maintaining its emotional core. The chapter also explored the challenges Elon faced in balancing the emotional intensity of the series with the need for self-care and professional boundaries. Hosting such vulnerable conversations took a toll, requiring Elon to develop strategies for managing his own well-being and preventing compassion fatigue. He collaborated closely with mental health experts to ensure ethical standards were upheld and resources were made available to viewers in need. Elon's transparency about these struggles further humanized him and deepened trust with his community. Beyond the streaming content itself, narratives of healing sparked broader conversations about the role of digital media in mental health and community building. Elon engaged in public discussions, podcasts, and panels advocating for the responsible use of technology as a means of fostering empathy and resilience rather than mere distraction. He challenged industry norms that prioritized clicks and virality over impact and authenticity. The chapter highlighted Elon's growing influence as a thought leader who bridged entertainment, advocacy, and innovation. On a personal level, Elon's work on the series catalyzed profound growth. He reflected on his own journey through trauma and healing, drawing strength from the stories shared by others. This reciprocal process enriched his creativity and deepened his sense of purpose. The chapter portrayed Elon not only as a creator but as a fellow traveler on the path toward healing and wholeness. Visually and narratively, narratives of healing employed subtle symbolism and thematic motifs that resonated across episodes, inviting viewers to engage in interpretation and personal reflection. Elon's storytelling became more poetic and layered, blending reality with metaphor to evoke emotional resonance. This artistic evolution distinguished the series and expanded the possibilities of streaming as a narrative form. As Chapter 17 drew to a close, Elon received heartfelt messages from viewers whose lives have been touched or transformed by the series. These testimonials affirmed the power of vulnerability and community in creating digital spaces that nurture rather than consume. Elon felt renewed commitment to this mission, recognizing that the future of streaming lay in embracing the full complexity of the human experience. For viewers and creators, narratives of healing offered a compelling blueprint for how digital storytelling could foster resilience, empathy, and connection in an increasingly fragmented world. Elon's story in this chapter was a testament to the transformative potential of narrative courage and the shared human need for meaning and belonging. Elon preparing to expand the series into new formats and platforms, eager to continue exploring how stories could heal not just individuals but communities and cultures. Elon preparing to take narratives of healing beyond streaming platforms and into the broader digital ecosystem by launching a dedicated interactive app designed to deepen community engagement and foster ongoing storytelling. This new chapter in his journey symbolized a shift from one-way broadcasting to multidirectional interaction, where the lines between creator and audience blurred further, and where the power of narrative could be harnessed in more personalized, accessible ways. Elon had learned from his prior experiences that sustainable digital communities required infrastructure, spaces not only for content consumption but for dialogue, collaboration, and mutual support. The app, named Echoes, was envisioned as a digital sanctuary for sharing, listening, and healing, equipped with tools for storytelling, peer mentoring, and resource connection. The chapter detailed Elon's collaboration with developers, designers, and mental health experts to create a platform that was both user-friendly and secure, emphasizing privacy and inclusivity. The design featured story prompts, live group sessions, creative workshops, and anonymous sharing options, catering to a diverse range of needs and comfort levels. Elon was deeply involved in curating content, setting community guidelines, and establishing partnerships with nonprofits to provide users with access to professional support when needed. The launch of Echoes was met with excitement but also skepticism in some corners, as questions arose about the challenges of moderating such a complex and sensitive space. Elon anticipated these hurdles and prepared a dedicated moderation team trained in trauma-informed practices to ensure the safety and well-being of participants. Early user feedback underscored the app's potential as well as the ongoing challenges of balancing openness with moderation. The chapter narrated stories from early adopters, individuals who found solace in sharing their struggles anonymously, creators who used the platform to host healing circles, and mentors who offered guidance rooted in lived experience. These testimonials illustrated the app's capacity to build real human connection beyond the ephemeral nature of typical social media. Elon's personal investment in Echoes extended beyond the technical. He frequently hosted live events within the app, modeling vulnerability and fostering a sense of presence that resonated deeply with users. His leadership style was collaborative and adaptive, always open to feedback and committed to evolving the platform in response to community needs. The chapter also explored the ethical dilemmas Elon faced, balancing innovation with responsibility, growth with quality, and accessibility with security. These reflections underscored the complexities of digital creation in an era where technology profoundly shapes human experience. Throughout the chapter, Elon's journey intertwined with broader cultural conversations about digital wellness, the impact of technology on mental health, and the potential for tech to serve as a tool for social good. He engaged in dialogues with policymakers, researchers, and fellow creators, advocating for frameworks that prioritized user well-being and fostered healthy online ecosystems. Elon's role expanded from creator to activist and innovator, illustrating the multifaceted nature of influence in the digital age. On a personal level, Elon found that building Echoes required balancing vision with humility. He encountered setbacks and disagreements but remained committed to the core mission of fostering connection and healing through storytelling. The chapter highlighted moments of tension and reconciliation, illustrating the real-world challenges of translating ideals into practice. Visually and narratively, Echoes integrated multimedia storytelling, blending text, audio, video, and interactive elements to create immersive experiences. Elon championed creativity and experimentation within the platform, encouraging users to find their unique voices and modes of expression. This diversity enriched the community and expanded the boundaries of digital narrative. As Chapter 18 drew to a close, Elon reflected on the evolving nature of digital storytelling, not just as a form of entertainment but as a vital tool for human connection and social transformation. He recognized that the work was ongoing and that the future would require continued innovation, empathy, and collaboration. For viewers, users, and creators, the Echoes app represented a new frontier, a space where stories could be shared safely, healing could take root, and communities could flourish in the digital realm. Elon's journey in this chapter underscored the transformative power of technology when wielded with care and purpose. The chapter ended with Elon preparing for a major live event within Echoes, designed to celebrate community stories and showcase the app's potential to create lasting impact, signaling a hopeful and ambitious next step in his ongoing quest to redefine streaming and storytelling. Elon preparing for the major live event within the Echoes app, a culmination of his vision to create a digital space where storytelling and healing merged into a shared experience of community and transformation. This event was unlike anything he had produced before, a multi-hour, multi-format stream combining live personal stories, musical performances, expert panels, and interactive workshops designed to engage and uplift the Echoes community and beyond. The chapter described the immense logistical and emotional preparation required, as Elon coordinated with artists, mental health professionals, tech teams, and community leaders to ensure the event's success. The pressure was palpable. Elon knew this would be a defining moment for Echoes, the streaming culture he had helped shape, and for his own evolution as a creator and advocate. The event kicked off with Elon's opening remarks, where he shared his own journey with vulnerability and healing, setting a tone of openness and hope. His words resonated deeply with viewers tuning in from diverse backgrounds, many of whom had found solace and inspiration through echoes. The live chat flooded with messages of gratitude and solidarity, a testament to the community's strength. Throughout the event, Elon showcased a curated lineup of personal narratives, each highlighting different aspects of struggle and recovery, from addiction and loss to identity and belonging. These stories were interwoven with live music from emerging artists whose lyrics reflected themes of resilience and renewal. The chapter painted vivid scenes of these performances, capturing the raw emotion and energy that reverberated through the digital space. Panels featuring psychologists, social workers, and narrative therapists provided expert insights, contextualizing the personal stories within broader frameworks of mental health and social justice. Elon facilitated these discussions with thoughtful questions, bridging the gap between professional knowledge and lived experience. Workshops offered practical tools for self-care, creative expression, and community building, encouraging viewers to participate actively and take these lessons into their own lives. The chapter also detailed technical innovations that enhanced the event's immersive quality, augmented reality segments, real-time audience polls, and breakout rooms for smaller group interactions. Elon's team had pushed the boundaries of streaming technology to create a seamless, engaging experience that felt both intimate and expansive. The emotional intensity of the event was profound. Elon himself was moved to tears multiple times, especially when viewers shared how echoes had changed their lives or helped them through dark moments. These testimonials reinforced the transformative power of storytelling and validated Elon's mission. Yet the chapter also acknowledged the challenges. Managing the emotional labor, navigating moments of vulnerability on a public platform, and balancing the demands of production with the authenticity of connection. Elon's leadership during these moments demonstrated growth and resilience, inspiring his team and audience alike. The event concluded with a symbolic act, a virtual, light circle, where participants sent messages of hope, solidarity, and gratitude that were visually represented as glowing orbs floating across the screen. This shared ritual embodied the communal spirit Elon sought to cultivate throughout his journey. As Chapter 19 drew to a close, Elon reflected on the event's impact and the future possibilities it unlocked. He recognized that while technology could never replace human touch, it could amplify voices, foster empathy, and create new forms of presence. Elon's work had moved beyond entertainment into the realm of social change and healing, a testament to the evolving role of creators in the digital era. For viewers and creators, this chapter underscored the power of intentional storytelling and community building to transcend isolation and foster collective resilience. Elon's story was now inseparable from the lives he had touched, a living testament to the enduring human need for connection and meaning. The chapter ended with Elon looking ahead to expanding echoes internationally, dreaming of a global community united by stories and healing, signaling an ambitious new chapter in his quest to transform streaming culture and digital connection. Elon reflecting on the incredible journey that had brought him from a high-energy streamer struggling to find his authentic voice to a pioneering creator dedicated to healing, connection, and transformation. The chapter began with a moment of quiet introspection as Elon sat in his studio, now redesigned to be a warm, inviting space filled with plants, soft lighting, and mementos from his travels and community events. This physical transformation symbolized the profound internal growth he had undergone. Elon thought back to the early days. The streamer university exam that he had spectacularly failed, the confusion, the setbacks, and the relentless pressure to perform. Those experiences, once sources of frustration and embarrassment, had become the foundation for his evolution. He realized that failure was not an end but a catalyst for growth, pushing him to embrace vulnerability, empathy, and authenticity. The chapter wove together reflections on key moments throughout the story, his travels On the Road, the launch of Narratives of Healing, the creation of the Echoes app, and the landmark live event. Each milestone represented a step toward deeper connection with his audience and a clearer understanding of his purpose. Elon acknowledged the profound impact that his community had on him, the viewers who shared their stories, the collaborators who challenged and supported him, and the experts who enriched his perspective. This network of relationships underscored the story's recurring theme, that connection is both a gift and a responsibility. The chapter detailed Elon's growing commitment to using his platform for social good, advocating for mental health awareness, digital wellness, and the ethical use of technology. He recognized the power and reach of streaming culture and was determined to model leadership rooted in compassion and integrity. Elon also grappled with the continuing challenges of maintaining balance in a fast-paced, ever-changing digital landscape. He shared insights into his daily practices, mindfulness, setting boundaries, prioritizing rest, and how these habits had become essential to sustaining his creativity and well-being. This personal discipline was a crucial part of his maturation as a creator and human being. Narratively, the chapter illustrated Elon's evolving storytelling style, less focused on spectacle and more on nuanced, poetic narratives that honored complexity and emotional depth. He experimented with new formats, including collaborative storytelling projects, immersive multimedia experiences, and cross-platform initiatives that bridged digital and physical spaces. Elon's creative evolution reflected a broader cultural shift toward authenticity, empathy, and shared meaning. The chapter also addressed moments of doubt and vulnerability, reminding readers that growth is not linear. Elon faced criticism, technical setbacks, and emotional exhaustion but met these challenges with resilience and openness, learning from each experience and adapting with grace. These struggles humanized him and deepened his connection with the community. As the chapter approached its conclusion, Elon hosted a final live stream that served as both a celebration and a farewell to the era of his early streaming life. This event was intimate and heartfelt, featuring messages from longtime viewers, collaborators, and experts who had journeyed with him. The shared stories, laughter, and tears embodied the profound bonds forged through storytelling and shared vulnerability. Elon ended the stream with a message of hope and encouragement, that everyone has the capacity to grow, to connect, and to find meaning even in the face of failure and uncertainty. The chapter closed with Elon looking ahead, not to fame or fortune but to ongoing learning, service, and creative exploration. He embraced the uncertainty of the future with curiosity and courage, committed to continuing his journey of transformation alongside the community he had helped build. For readers, this final chapter offered a powerful life lesson about the redemptive power of failure, the importance of authentic connection, and the enduring strength found in vulnerability and empathy. Elon's story had come full circle, evolving from a cautionary tale of failure to an inspiring narrative of hope and renewal. The chapter ended with a poignant reflection: in the end, we are all storytellers, weaving threads of pain and joy, loss and love, into the fabric of our shared humanity. And it is through these stories that we find our way home. Elon standing at a crossroads, reflecting on how much had changed since the days he first took the Streamer University exam and failed spectacularly. But instead of looking back with regret, he embraced this moment as an opportunity to explore new horizons beyond the screen and the digital community he had built. With Echoes thriving and his storytelling mission reaching more people than he'd ever imagined, Elon felt a calling to bridge the gap between virtual connection and real-world impact. This chapter chronicled Elon's bold decision to launch a series of in-person community gatherings called Echoes Live, designed to bring the digital sanctuary of storytelling and healing into physical spaces across America. The idea was simple yet ambitious: create safe, welcoming environments where people could share their stories face-to-face, foster authentic human connection, and deepen the sense of belonging sparked online. Planning Echoes Live became a labor of love and a logistical challenge. Elon teamed up with local community centers, mental health organizations, artists, and volunteers to organize the events, aiming to reach underserved populations and cities that rarely received attention from the digital world. Each gathering was intentionally intimate, with small circles designed to encourage honesty and trust. Elon often traveled alongside the teams, personally hosting sessions, moderating conversations, and sharing his own story as a way to model vulnerability and inspire others. The chapter vividly described the energy and emotions of these live gatherings, strangers who became friends through shared pain and laughter, moments of catharsis when participants realized they were not alone, and the collective power of stories to heal wounds that often went unspoken. Elon was struck by how different but complementary this experience was to streaming. The face-to-face interactions brought a raw immediacy and depth that could not be replicated online, while the digital platform provided a broader reach and ongoing support. This dual approach deepened Elon's belief that storytelling and healing needed to transcend formats and media to truly transform lives. The chapter also explored the challenges Elon faced in balancing his growing public role with personal life. The travel, emotional intensity, and constant responsibility demanded resilience and self-care. Elon leaned on his close friends and mentors more than ever, recognizing that leadership required vulnerability and support just as much as strength and vision. The community around him continued to be a source of grounding and inspiration. Elon's commitment to equity and inclusion was central to Echoes Live. The gatherings prioritized accessibility, cultural sensitivity, and creating spaces for marginalized voices often excluded from mainstream conversations about mental health and storytelling. Elon actively worked to dismantle barriers, partnering with grassroots organizations and amplifying stories from diverse backgrounds. This commitment added layers of meaning and urgency to his mission. Narratively, Chapter 21 deepened the themes of connection, resilience, and transformation introduced throughout the story. Elon's evolution was now less about personal growth alone and more about fostering collective healing and empowerment. The chapter illustrated how stories, when shared with care and courage, could ripple outward, creating waves of change far beyond individual lives. Toward the end of the chapter, Elon faced an unexpected crisis, a major setback when a scheduled Echoes Live event in a Midwestern city was disrupted by protests unrelated to the gathering's purpose. Elon had to navigate the tension between community safety, free expression, and the mission of healing through storytelling. This incident tested Elon's leadership and resolve, pushing him to develop new strategies for conflict resolution and community engagement. The chapter described the emotional weight of this moment and how Elon drew on lessons from his past failures and successes to respond with empathy and strength. Elon stood before a packed room at the next Echoes Live event, feeling the pulse of hope and determination in the air. He realized that his journey was no longer just about streaming or technology, it was about being present for people in whatever form was needed. The power of stories to transform lived experience was limitless, and Elon was committed to walking alongside his community every step of the way. The chapter ended with Elon's voice echoing through the room, "No matter where we come from, what we've been through, or how far we've fallen, our stories carry us forward. Together, we can heal, grow, and build a world where everyone belongs." Elon contemplating the ripple effects of Echoes Live and how the in-person gatherings were reshaping not only his life but the lives of countless others across the country. The chapter began by spotlighting several stories from participants who had experienced profound transformations through the events. There was Maria, a single mother from Detroit, who shared how Echoes Live helped her break free from isolation and rebuild trust after years of hardship. Then there was Jamal, a veteran struggling with PTSD, who found healing in the supportive circles and later became a volunteer facilitator. Their stories served as living proof of the movement Elon had helped ignite, a grassroots wave of healing powered by storytelling, empathy, and human connection. Elon recognized that these real-world impacts went far beyond any metrics or digital statistics. They were about restoring dignity, rekindling hope, and forging community in a fractured society. The chapter described Elon's growing role as a connector and catalyst, bringing together artists, activists, mental health professionals, and everyday people to co-create spaces where stories could be heard, honored, and transformed into collective strength. Elon's leadership had evolved into a collaborative model rooted in humility and inclusivity, emphasizing shared power and the importance of listening deeply. The narrative then turned to the challenges of scaling this movement responsibly. Elon was keenly aware that growth carried risks, dilution of mission, burnout, and unintended exclusion. He invested in training local leaders, developing sustainable practices, and creating feedback loops to ensure the movement remained grounded in its core values. Technology remained a key partner, Elon continued to refine the Echoes app, integrating new features to complement the in-person work, such as localized event calendars, peer support groups, and creative storytelling tools. Elon's personal journey in this phase, a complex mix of exhilaration and exhaustion, hope and doubt. He grappled with the limits of what one person could do, learning to lean into community, delegate responsibilities, and embrace imperfection. His growth was reflected not just in outward achievements but in deeper self-awareness and compassion. A significant moment in the chapter was Elon's meeting with a group of indigenous storytellers invited to share their wisdom and traditions at an Echoes Live event. Their perspectives on storytelling as a sacred, intergenerational practice deeply influenced Elon's understanding of narrative's power and responsibility. He integrated these teachings into the Echoes platform and gatherings, honoring cultural heritage and fostering cross-cultural dialogue. This enriched the movement's diversity and deepened its respect for history and identity. The chapter also highlighted the societal impact of Elon's work, touching on collaborations with schools, healthcare providers, and policymakers who saw Echoes as a promising model for community-based healing and prevention. Elon found himself at the intersection of art, technology, and social change, advocating for greater investment in narrative medicine and digital wellness initiatives. Toward the chapter's conclusion, Elon faced a personal reckoning when a close friend and collaborator experienced a mental health crisis. This event reminded him of the ongoing fragility of healing and the necessity of sustaining support beyond moments of crisis. Elon recommitted himself to nurturing not just grand gestures but everyday acts of care and presence. The chapter closed with a powerful scene of Elon facilitating a storytelling circle at a community center, surrounded by faces young and old, each carrying their own stories of pain and hope. The room hummed with shared energy as voices rose and fell in a chorus of resilience and belonging. Elon felt a profound sense of gratitude and purpose. He understood that the story he had started years ago was now bigger than himself. It was a living, breathing movement fueled by countless lives intertwined through narrative. The final lines captured this truth: stories are more than words. They are the threads that weave us together, the sparks that ignite change, the light that guides us home. And as long as we keep telling them, honestly, bravely, together, we will never be lost. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough?